Hey guys, welcome back to Rave Culture Cast, your weekly guide to the EDM community, music festivals, and more. I'm your host, Emma Capotis, and thank you so much for joining me this week. Trance music lovers, this one is for you. I'm so excited to be introducing an absolute legend in trance music, Giuseppe Ottaviani. We have an amazing conversation lined up for you guys where you're going to get to know him as a person and an artist and just learn more about how he has been a tastemaker in this space, the exciting project he is currently working on for his OTTAGON live performance, a new album that he's dropping, as well as just talking about trance music in general, the community, production. It's a really eye-opening conversation, and he is such a pleasure to chat with. So I'm super excited that we could make this happen. Backstory, we actually got to meet at EDC Orlando this past fall, where I interviewed him for Insomniac Radio. It was short and sweet, but his team reached out, and it was awesome to have more time with him, and he's so lovely, so humble, so freaking passionate. So for anybody out there, maybe you're an aspiring artist or producer, this guy's the real deal. He is so passionate about music. It's his entire life. So really, really awesome conversation that we will be diving into very shortly. But first and foremost, here's where you can connect with us. We are at Rave Culture Cast on all of the platforms, Facebook group, Discord community, everything will be linked in the show notes, along with our partners who I got to give a quick shout out to. So if you know, Loop Earplugs. Let's talk about it. So today I'm showing you guys my absolute favorite Experience 2 earplugs. These were my go-to on Groove Cruise, which I just got back from. I had two different Loop earplugs that I swapped out every single day, but this color, this rose gold, is stunning, absolutely beautiful. It's kind of like a statement piece in your ear, like almost like a piece of jewelry that also protects your hearing. So if you're somebody who likes being up in the action, if you go to a lot of shows, raves, festivals, whatever it may be, this is going to protect your hearing up to 18 decibels. So if you want to avoid tinnitus, the ringing in your ear, that annoying sound, protect your hearing so you guys can rave to the grave. My code is going to be popped up here and linked down below. It is LoopX-Emma Capotis. LoopX-Emma Capotis. If you guys want to save 15% off your orders, that applies to any of their styles. Again, Experience 2 I think is absolutely perfect for music lovers. So I just want to shout them out. Could not love them more. And this is my number one necessity for any shows that I'm going to because I like to protect my hearing. So I'll link them down below. Shout out Loop for sponsoring this episode. With all that being said, you guys, I want to dive straight into this conversation. So please go show Giuseppe Ottaviani some love. Give him a follow. Let him know Rave Culture Cast sent you. And give us a comment on this video. Let us know what you thought about this interview. And if you guys want to see other guests, drop a comment. You never know. They might pop up. So with that being said, please join me in welcoming Giuseppe Ottaviani to the podcast. All right, guys. Well, welcome back to Rave Culture Cast. Today, we have an absolute legend of trance music, somebody whose melodies have shaped the sound of this genre for over 2 decades. Hailing from Italy, he's not just a DJ and producer, but a true musician at heart. This classically trained pianist turned his love for 90s Euro dance into a career that has taken him to the biggest stages across the world. With a brand new album on the horizon and the evolution of his innovative OTTAGON live performance, he's continuing to push boundaries for trance music to the masses. So, Rave Culture Cast fans, please welcome to the podcast, Giuseppe Ottaviani. How's it going?
Wow, that was a nice introduction, wasn't it?
I like to pump up my guests, yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate this.
Of course. No, I mean, so for those of you who don't know, we got to meet for the first time at EDC Orlando this past fall, and did like a short little interview for Insomniac Radio. But I'm super excited to have you here on like more of a long format, just to like share your story. This platform is yours today, so whatever gets you excited will get us excited. So I'm pumped to chat more.
No worries. Just fire the questions. I'm here.
Let's do it. Okay. Well, I wanted to know first off, we're in February here. How is your year going so far? Like, how are we feeling going into 2025?
Well, I was expecting to have a break in January, but then I have to start right away touring for the entire month. And like now I have a 3 weeks break, which is good because I'm renovating the studio. I can't show you now because it's a mess, but it gives me the time to, get back to work in a more efficient way and ready to rock the next month.
Amazing. Yeah. And are you somebody that like likes to stay super organized, or is it kind of like a mess around you at all times? Like, how do you like to keep your
No,
space?
I'm really tidy, really organized. I mean, I
Okay.
can't really work if if not everything is in the right position. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of a control freak myself,
Right.
so yeah, that kind of people.
I'm exactly the same. I'm so type A. It's not even funny. So I feel
Uh-huh.
like, well, today I know we have a lot of exciting things coming up. I definitely want to dive into music, but for people tuning in who maybe don't know like your whole background story, I wanted to talk a little bit about like your early career and early life as well. But
Sure.
for you, like if we're talking about you as a kid, like what were your early influences in music, and was that around your household when you were growing up, or what were you like, as a child?
Well, feeling a little bit old now because when I grew
Yeah.
up, there was no internet around, so I had to,
Right.
to just listen to whatever was coming out from the radio. My background is a little bit of a mess. I used to listen to everything from rock, pop, whatever was on the radio. I grew up with Queen, with U2, listening to Doors, probably because of my father.
Mm-hmm.
Then I met some dark German techno on a
Right.
CD, and I loved it. Like I was 14, 15 years old, and I say, oh, I like the beats, I like the
Wow.
beats. But I also I had some almost 9 years education of classical piano, which by the way I totally forgot now, so I can just
Mm-hmm.
like this. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I love that music, and then I love the classical music melodies, which is why I'm really into melodies.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point, there was a combination between the techno beats and the classical music, which later on I got to know it was called trance. And I said,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this is cool. Sounds good. Sounds familiar. And
Yep.
then I moved into that kind of field. That was early 1996, 7,
Mm-hmm.
eventually, yeah.
Amazing. Cool. And with the piano, like, is that something did you want to play instruments as a kid? Were you encouraged to do that? Because for me, myself and my brothers, my parents put us in piano lessons. My
Yeah.
oldest brother lasted the longest. I did not last that long. It might have lasted like 3 years, but then I got distracted. So,
Well, let me put it like this. I always wanted to be a drummer,
okay.
but
Yep.
I couldn't find a band here to make it happen. Then no, I mean
Mm,
I love to play the music. I love to play the piano. So my parents they pushed me to study piano a little bit. I didn't like to study though. I wanted to play, not to study
mm-hmm.
theory and everything. That's why they've been pushing me a little bit too much, and then I left the school, so I didn't even graduate in that.
Mm-hmm.
It's because it was
Wow.
I just wanted to play. I was a little kid. I don't want to study piano after studying
Yep.
school.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, for example, I have two kids now. I'm not pushing them at all, and not even saying anything. I have a baby grand downstairs in the living room.
Mm.
They just go there every now and then. They play. One of them wants to take piano lessons. It's fine. I'm not saying anything. Just has to happen
Sure.
naturally.
Right. 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 Oh, how old are your kids?
Well, they're growing fast. They're 14 and 12 now.
Okay. So yeah, so they're definitely finding their own footing and
Oh yeah,
figuring out their
oh
own
yeah, oh
paths
yeah.
right now.
No, I
Yeah.
mean the piano story has been around for 5 years now, so it's no,
That's
they're
amazing.
not as musical as me, but
Mm-hmm.
I can see the influence I'm giving to them, even because
Sure.
I'm all the day here in the studio. They listen to my music all the day. They probably
Mm-hmm.
don't like it much, but it
Right.
is what it is.
You never know. You're probably rubbing
No,
off
no, you
more than you think, but that's good that you're giving them the freedom to explore, which is really cool. And this it's like such a full circle moment too, because even, however you treated it back then, having that background to now with like the OTTAGON live experience that you're curating, it's just cool to see how you've built up all those skills and then, found this sound for yourself. But for
Mhm.
the Rave Culture Cast audience, I always like to ask, like, what was your introduction to rave culture? Like you mentioned, you had that CD, but do you remember either like your first rave experience or your first show that you had?
Well, I mean, that's apart. I was DJing in a small clubs around my area, but didn't really have a rave culture, to be honest. Just to go out and
Mm-hmm.
rave, I never be on that side. I'm always be on the other side, on the DJ side,
Got
because
it.
I've been DJing since I was 14.
Wow. Yeah.
Starting with small parties, friends, birthdays, whatever, and then clubs. But I've never really been in dance floor. I
Mm-hmm.
never find myself
Wow.
comfortable being a raver. I've
Yeah.
never been a raver. I'm always been a music conductor.
That's a great way of putting it. That's so funny. We got to get you to go incognito and put you in a hat and
Yeah,
we'll put you
yeah,
out on the dance floor.
that's what I like. So
That's so cool. Yeah.
yeah,
So you just kind of like you were exposed to the other side of it, but that's amazing for 14 years old to already know that that's what you're going to do, or at least just having fun with it is amazing. Cause in America, I feel like you wouldn't even be allowed in the club at that age yet.
well, back in the day, Italy was a little bit,
Sure.
you can do it.
Yeah.
Not a massive problem.
Right, right. That's a fun job for you to have like on the weekends and stuff. So were you just dedicating all of your free time to that?
Yeah, most of the time, yeah, absolutely. It's always been me playing some music at home. This is my main
Hmm.
hobby. I still feel like I'm not working and it's just having fun, because
Love that.
I was lucky enough to turn my hobby into my job, and
Right.
that's the best thing I could ever happen. It could ever happen to me.
Incredible. Yeah,
So,
of
yeah.
course. I'm sure that keeps it motivating, right? So that you never get bored, because if you're that passionate about it, you can just continue doing it.
Let me put it like this: I can't wait to wake up in the morning to go to work. So that tells a
Love
lot,
that.
right?
That is an amazing feeling something that a lot of people look. I feel that way too right now, which is
Which is good, yeah.
it's a great feeling. Yeah, it's a great, and you just feel balanced, kind of like, I'm sure in your life you're pulled in a lot of different directions, but if your foundation is in a good spot, I feel like you're just able to be more creative in that way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. This is not like a job where, you know, it doesn't really matter how you feel, you need to do your job. No, I mean, if you don't feel right,
Mhm.
you can't make music. You can't find ideas. So it has to be some sort of inspiration every single day.
Mhm.
not every day, but you
Yeah.
need to wait for the right time. But there must be some definitely some inspiration, something that that comes
Mhm.
around you, that gives you the input, and then you can come out with ideas and in my case melodies.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. And so you mentioned to me back in the fall when you were coming up with the concept for the OTTAGON that you just wanted to like keep pushing yourself. So why not build this structure with keyboards and pianos around you? And this is a whole new thing you're launching. So
Yeah.
and you debuted it at Dreamstate in the fall, but I just wanted to follow up with you and hear about it. But could you tell people where, like, how did this concept come about, and where did like the idea come from for this experience?
Well, I've been playing for almost 20 years as a live act. I've never really been a DJ. I'm DJing
Hmm.
since 4 years now. I think I learned to
Okay.
play with CDJs 4 years ago.
Wow. Okay.
Honestly, so I'm always been playing. My yeah, of course, bringing my computer, my synthesizer. So I'm always been playing my music first, and
Hmm.
then playing my music live. So that's something I always did. Since I started being a DJ, which by the way, it's great because you just throw with a USB stick,
Yeah.
but also allows me to play now a wider range of music. So I can
Hmm.
be very very flexible, and that's what I'm loving about my sound right now.
Hmm.
But I was missing, the live thing, and
Hmm.
so I was talking to my manager and say, "Look, we need to bring the live show back, but if we do so, we need to make it bigger." And he was
Hmm.
like, "Well, yeah, but what do you mean by bigger?" Well,
Right.
like bring some keyboard on stage, because in the pandemic time, I used to do a lot of videos from my studio, playing
Hmm.
my keyboards that you can see a few of them, here in the
Yeah.
back, and it seems like people loved it, so they really love to see me play the keyboards and all the melodies that I make. So I said, well, let's bring a few keyboards on stage, and yeah, how many? Well, let's do 8. Why not?
Yeah.
Let's
Like
do
just
8.
keep upping the
And
amount.
then we've
Yeah,
just
yeah.
been discussing about, okay, how can we, logistically, how can we do this? And then we ended up with the setup that you've seen at Dreamstate. So it's an octagon, 8 keyboards around me where I can move like an octopus. And
So crazy.
I what I really love is the fact that everything can go wrong, and that
Right.
excites me.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong, it goes spectacularly wrong. And
Right.
that's what makes it very exciting, and that's what I love about it.
The risk,
All
there's a
the
big risk. Yeah.
yeah, the risk, all the big pressure you get right before the show. It's not just about, oh, will I remember what to play? It's not about that, but it's also that keyboard. I hope the keyboard will work fine. I hope the cable
Right.
will be stable. All the technology around makes all very risky, and for some reason that's what I love. It's pretty much like people, jumping off the plane with a parachute, giving the
I was just
adrenaline,
thinking that.
just a different way. I wouldn't do that, but I do this.
Okay. You literally read my mind. I was like, is he an adrenaline junkie? Like, do you just love the rush of everything? But no, it's just when it comes to the music, right?
Yeah, it's a more safe kind of adrenaline.
Sure. But I was curious, like so when you come to your team with this project, like logistically, what does that look like? Like how many people did it take to kind of like put that concept together and bring it to life? And then how do you work with like the festival or the event to make sure that all looks right?
Well, we've been working, just, I think 5 people, because someone was taking care of the project, someone was taking care of building it, and someone was designing the visuals. I was making the music, but I'm also a do-yourself guy, so I took part in the building part of the
Sure.
project. Then yeah, it takes a little bit of effort to ship all this thing to the US, because it's big, it's heavy, and it takes
Right.
time. We spent so many days at the custom waiting to clear all the technology inside the boxes. Then it took another 3 people to set up the stage at Dreamstate, and I mean, not a massive team, but
Right.
there is a lot of work behind, and I like to work myself very, very hard. I mean, I took part of every single step, just because, as I said before, I'm a little bit of a control freak, so I need to be
Right.
involved in everything.
Sure.
That's also what I like. That's also what I enjoy doing.
Yeah, no, this is your baby. This is your project. So you want everything to be right. And I just like to illuminate that side of it for listeners, because I'll talk to like festival organizers on the podcast and like get a behind the scenes of how everything comes together, because they just show up to the stage, see it all put together, see this amazing show, but they don't,
nice.
Don't think about, yeah, exactly, like how long it took to get there and what, popping this up in between the other performances. Like it's a huge deal, and it looks beautiful. So you're bringing this to, how do you, oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I forgot to tell you that, we made this happen in 5 months. And 5 months also includes 12 brand new tracks, which are now becoming an album. So when we launched the idea and we pitched the idea to a few friends, a few promoters, Dreamstate was the first one, and they were like, "Oh, let's do it." And I was like, "Okay, cool, Dreamstate 2025, amazing." Now, November, and that was, I think, early June or something.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I really have
lit a fire under your butt.
Exactly. That's the adrenaline I was looking for.
That's great. So how do you guys decide? Because I was looking at the calendar to see like the upcoming shows. I think you're at another Dreamstate, but how do you decide where to bring that experience?
Well, it has to be a big show, first of all, because there is so much preparation, so much work around this that cannot be sold to clubs. It's just too much. So yeah, Dreamstate is a great partner. They know what we're looking for. They know how to do things. I mean, they know what they're doing. So basically, that was an easy choice for the first 2 shows. Just go with Dreamstate. So Los Angeles and what's the name? Oh God.
There was one in Europe coming up, right? I think.
I'm just trying to remember the city, which is blurry right now. But anyway, yes, Dreamstate Europe in Poland. And what is next? We will see. it's not easy to pick up at the next place. So let's get this one next out of the place, and then we will think about the next one. But what we want to do, just to keep with the concept of number 8, we want to do a maximum of 8 shows for OTTAGON.
Wow.
And
okay,
then,
cool.
As I said last time to my manager, and after that, it's OTTAGON.
Right. You're like, I'm done with this.
It's
That's
gone.
brilliant. So you guys listening, there's only going to be a couple opportunities to see this live. So when the tickets get announced and everything, go make sure you see it. Did you post any videos from Dreamstate, or we're keeping it a surprise?
No. Yeah, we posted a lot of videos from Dreamstate in Los Angeles.
Just not the whole set. Okay.
Not the whole set, because we wanted to keep it, safe for the next show.
Sure.
And even because we just started to release the music now, so we want to release all the music I play in November, towards the end of April. So towards the next show. So by the time we have the next show done, there will be an OTTAGON album out.
Incredible. And, let's talk about it. I'm excited. You already have the Find You is the first release, which is incredible. That was out on Armada, which came out. But how did that set the tone for what we're about to hear with the rest of the album?
Well, people who experienced the live show, they know the tunes already. So that someone might have the tunes on their phone because, people was recording, taking videos. We just go with the flow. The first one, I want to have a vocal tune, and I really love that tune. So the next one is going to be some more instrumental tunes, some more clubby banging stuff.
Yep.
But still in the style of the combination between melodic techno and trance, which is what OTTAGON project is doing.
Sure.
So it allows me to be very melodic on that side, while Giuseppe Ottaviani is going to be more of a main stage kind of an accent sound. So it's
love that.
I like to separate now the two sounds, because I like to play a little bit of everything. So sometimes people don't know what to expect from me, because I'm a little bit of everything right now. I really,
that's
vary
great.
my music a lot, and that's what I'm, having the freedom of playing whatever it comes to your mind is great. But I realize that sometimes people get confused. So we're gonna say that kind of sound comes out from OTTAGON, while Giuseppe Ottaviani brings way higher
something different.
Yeah.
Right. I love that. I've had this conversation a lot, just with like genres kind of blurring right now. I think people's taste is eclectic. Like I listen to so many different genres, dance music being my favorite, but I love like a pop vocalist. So I think it's nice for the fans because they like a little bit of everything as well. So it's a surprise because they don't know what they're going to get. But if they wanted to have this different side of you, they have this newer sound, which, sounds fantastic based off of Find You so far, which is really cool.
Yeah,
so,
well, it's great that when someone buy a ticket, they kind of know what sound are going to expect, because, sometimes you might go to that show expecting something, and then you hear a completely different set, which for me is still will be amazing, because I want to discover new stuff, new music. But sometimes you can't make everybody happy. So I think a little bit of a separation in terms of energy and BPMs, that could be something helpful. But I mean, we will see.
Right. For you, so you've been in this industry for a very long time. Like when you look at the state of trance music right now, like what you're producing but versus what other people are producing, like is there anything that stands out to you that's happening right now, or do you kind of just stay in your own lane of like, this is my sound, this is what I'm producing? I'm not worried about trends.
No. Completely the opposite. I'm totally influenced from everything now. I mean, starting from the pandemic, I changed my vision of music. Like, say 2018, 19, I had that sound. I was like, I don't care what the other people do. I just keep the same sound. I like this. But then it was getting boring for me. So, you don't want to really keep playing the same thing over and over again. And when, we just stopped doing everything, when the world stopped for the pandemic, I just had the chance to start listening music. I discovered new artists, which for other people, might be a little bit silly because there are big artists being around for
Mm-hmm.
years. It was just me not knowing these people.
Not knowing, yeah.
And yeah, which is, I feel bad, but I'm not gonna tell you the names. But anyway,
No, you're good.
but yeah, I mean, I started listening a lot of different kind of music, and I was like, oh, wait a second, there's a lot of great music around. It might not be
Mm-hmm.
what people are used to hear from me, but I don't care because this is just good music. So
Right.
what's the point of not saying or not playing that? So I start
Mm.
playing a little bit of more techno things, a little bit more progressive house things, something a bit more mainstream, if you will. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of a mix, but the main thing for me is that a good melody is in there anyway. So no matter what,
Sure.
if I
Love
play
that.
if I play a more techy stuff, it's gonna end up with some sort of good melody in it.
Mm-hmm. Your touch on there, yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
because yeah, otherwise we go back when I was 14, which was just dark techno, like
Sure.
Berlin style. That was, no.
We're not throwing it out the window yet. No, I appreciate I always say too with that, because I feel the same way. I think like I've jumped on the bandwagon late for people, but I'm always like, it's okay if you're late to the party. We're just glad you're here. Doesn't matter when you arrived, you're part of the party now. So it's okay if you
Exactly,
discover
yeah,
them later.
exactly.
That's awesome though. No, I'm glad. I think you can hear those influences in what you're doing. And yeah, not to beat a dead horse, but COVID was just
Mhm.
such a pivotal time for a lot of people in picking up new skills or taking a second to pause and like rethink what you're working on and focusing on. So it's great that for you that was a time to just kind of like open the floodgates to everything happening around you, and even like
Yeah.
new up and coming producers, I'm sure you might pick some things up from as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I get influences from any artist that I like, any music that I even hear on, when sometimes just scrolling on TikTok or Instagram, you
Mm-hmm.
hear something, you discover something.
Sure.
And because of course I tend to like certain kind of things, these things keep popping up because that's the
Mm-hmm.
algorithm. Yeah, I discover a lot of great music, honestly. And what I usually do, for example, now, there is this guy which I recently discovered. I mean, he's growing fast and he's great. I love what he's doing. It's Aaron Heibel.
Okay.
He does a little bit of ambient sound, some more cinematic stuff, some more progressive house, some more trancey, some more upbeat, a little bit of a mixed bag of really good things. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
point for me. He does amazing melody. So he has this track called Set Me Free, which is a
Cool.
Afro house
Check that out.
trancey kind of track. It's a great blend between trance and Afro house, which is Afro house
Mm.
hype right now. And
Sure.
I said, oh, I really want to play this, but this is not gonna work in my sets because Afro house is a little bit too soft
Sure.
for
Sure.
what I
Sure.
play. So I just
Right.
grabbed the music and then put a kick drum on it, a bass line on it, and then I played on my shows, and it goes well down. It goes
That's
down
awesome.
very well. And
Yeah. Yeah.
and I love it. So I really like to, there is a lot of great music that I just need to adjust a little bit to fit my sets. But
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm doing.
Right. That's the right. But see, if you get excited, like just seeing you get that excited about it, I feel like that just resonates with
Yeah,
people. Like they can feel that excitement too. Like if you're unsure about it, maybe it won't go off as much. But like if you had that gut feeling, and obviously your gut feeling is probably right about most everything you do. So I love that the audience is. Do you find that international, like whether you're in the States or internationally, are people pretty open to what you're playing, or do you kind of run into audiences sometimes that maybe are a little bit more cautious with new
it
music?
depends. It depends on the country. Depends on the party because sometimes you
Mm.
have. Uh, yeah, I mean, sometimes you find a little bit older age. They go for more the classic sound, while the younger
Mm-hmm.
age they go for whatever you play, which is
Sure.
great. So yeah, it really depends what party I played. As I said before, now being a DJ, I can just be a DJ and
Mm-hmm.
adjust, adapt. If something I'm trying to play doesn't work, easy, I can change it. While
Yep.
before playing live, you can move around, but not really completely change the mood of the night. So yeah, I'm loving this, and I like to see, to push the limits, seeing where the crowd can until when can accept a certain sound.
Right.
And then I can always go back and move around. But that's DJ job, basically. Selection, reading the crowd, following the music, following the night. That's just a proper DJ job, which is
taking them on a journey.
But yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Every country is different. Every party is different.
Keeping you on your toes. Yeah. Definitely keeping you on your toes.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. Do you enjoy playing back-to-back sets when you are just like doing a straight up DJ set?
I never really liked to play back-to-back, but and so I never did it until now, because now I'm doing it, and I'm really enjoying it. Yeah. Good. It's really fun, because most of the time you don't communicate, you don't really prepare a set. You just go there and say, okay, I have a bunch of 20 tracks. Yeah, I have a bunch of 20, 25 tracks as well. We blend them together, just going back to back as it's supposed to be. And I think it's so much fun if you feel the same type of music with your back-to-back partner,
your counterpart. Yeah, exactly. Because I'll usually never miss a back-to-back. Like if it's a special thing happening at a festival, I just feel like if they're in sync and aligned, it's just magic, because usually you don't get to see that as often, or it's more rare. So I'm always like, I want to go see the two artists try and like blend their styles together, and like kind of I like to watch the DJs' reactions too, to them like surprising each other. I don't know, I just love the whole interaction of what happens up there.
Do you know how it works? When you're DJing on your own, you're thinking ahead of what people hear. So you're playing a song, and in your head you are already 3 songs, ready. You already know what's going to happen next. You already know what will be the direction you want to go. When you go back to back, you have no idea what's going on. You don't know what the other guy will play.
Right.
And that, the other track could eventually inspire you to play something completely different from what you have imagined. And so most of the time you see myself scrolling down my USB for tracks, which I didn't prepare at all. And I have to look back at their archive, trying to find something, because I thought it will match, with what it's been played. It's unpredictable, and that's what I like.
That's great. I give you guys so much credit, because I'm more of a behind the scenes person. Even though I do the podcast and I do content creation, I'm still most of the time filming at home by myself. So I'm talking to a screen, not with the big audience. And I just went to an Eric Prydz show this past weekend, and I just like the attention that you command when you're up there, and this vibe that you're curating for everyone. It's a ton of pressure. And then when you throw situations like that, I just give you guys so much credit, because you're really just like thinking on your toes and keeping the energy up for people to have a great night. So
there's definitely more pressure when you are on your own.
Yeah.
Than when you are two. So,
with somebody else. Right.
That way, it's even more relaxing, more enjoyable, just because you have some sort of help from the other one.
Sure.
and vice versa. So it's cool. I mean, I like it. I did play a back-to-back with Nifra, for example. We went a bit more techy with her. I did a back-to-back with Andrew Rayel in Kuala Lumpur.
Love him.
We went all over the place.
Right.
Actually, I'm gonna post that video online soon. Just looking for the right date in February to post it. But yeah, that's
awesome.
Gonna be up on my channel soon. Definitely looking forward to play again with Nifra at Luminosity this year. I'm probably gonna play again with Andrew or someone else. We will see.
Sure.
So
what about for the album? Any collaborations, or is this a solo project?
This album is just a solo album. I mean, solo means with the singers, of course. But in terms of producers, it's always been me. Yeah, even because I was in rush. I had to deliver 12 tracks in 5 months.
Right.
So there was not really time to team up with other people waiting. I couldn't waste a second.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just me. boring.
And with the vocalists, like how do you, because I think you said for Find You, I could be wrong, but I thought I saw that you just had to like grab a sample vocalist that you kind of like mixed up a little bit versus if you're kind of going to a vocalist from scratch. So what do you like to look for when you're finding a vocalist for your tracks?
Sometime first of all, I start looking around for the type of voice that I like, and then I send a few examples to my publishing, and I'm like, okay, you know what, go out and find some voice like this.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it can be a male voice, a female. It really depends on the demo idea that I have. So I usually get a bunch of demos where I can select and choose the vibe that I like. So grab one demo from a singer, contact the singer, and then we start from there and try to put things together. For example, for Fangio is just taken from a sample pack because it was
Right. Yeah.
one of the last tunes that I had to make, and it was really really late, so I didn't really have time to get into the process of writing something with a singer,
Mm-hmm.
and took it from a sample pack. And the funny thing is that it sounds like a male voice, but it's a female voice,
Right.
and the
Right.
original melody goes completely different. So I just grabbed the voice, chopped it, and I took the words that I wanted to use, and I
Mm-hmm.
modified the melody of the voice with a software built into Cubase, which is my sequencer. It's my DAW, and yeah. Long story short, we have a vocal tune, but it's more.
So cool. Love that. I was listening in the car on the way here because I heard you say that, and so then I was listening on the way to drop my son off on daycare because I like to introduce him to different kinds of dance music so that hopefully one day
Sure.
he'll be into this as well. And I was like just listening to that. I was like, yeah, this is crazy that this was a female voice that you tweaked. But it's funny you said like you start with the piano and the drums, but you're basically your own band now by yourself, pretty much.
Basically, yeah,
Yeah,
basically.
just
No, I
creating
really
everything.
like to. Even though when you take something from a sample pack, it means it's a royalty free. So because you pay for the pack, you can use the song, you can use the voice, but everybody can do that. So
Sure.
you don't want to have someone else coming out with exact same voice. Of course, they can
Right.
grab the original voice, but the original voice is going to be completely different from what I've done, and or very very different. Not completely because it can be completely, but yeah, I like
Mm-hmm.
to work on it a lot and make more a personal kind of.
Make it your own. Yeah. No, and you did just that with it. So with you, I wanted to know, do you get the biggest rush from finishing a track and like being in the studio and working on the music, or being on stage at a show, or both?
Being on stage playing the track that I finished in the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great answer. Yeah. You're like, I need to
Has
see
to
the
be both.
response.
Has to be both. I don't want to be on stage playing music from only from the others.
Mm-hmm.
The most exciting thing for me is just being on stage, playing my own music, and seeing people reacting, smiling, having a good
Mm,
fun, having a good time. That's my ultimate goal.
love that. Do you have, I'm sure you've played a million shows, but are there any memories like with a fan's reaction that really stand out to you, whether it was like a festival show or maybe like somebody came up to you after a show, but like a really memorable moment where they, you could tell your music had touched them?
I think right now Poland is a good country for me, where I
Oh,
have
wow. Okay.
so many followers. They love my music, and they know my music.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I get best reactions because they know exactly what I'm playing, and
Wow.
and what to do. Um,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of memories, yeah, of course, for few gigs of the very first times I played in Argentina, for example, that was something unbelievable because I never experienced something like that. They I was playing a festival. They put me at 7 a.m.
Oh,
and I
wow.
was feeling bad because, oh, come on, guys, 7 a.m.
Right.
Nobody's gonna be there. It's
Yeah.
it's too late. No, that was the best spot.
Oh, wow. Wow.
7 a.m.
Okay.
was actually the headliner, and I didn't get it
Wow.
because
Yeah.
they like to party. They like to party till the daylight.
Sure.
And then I was amazed. At 7 a.m. that the sun was coming up, and everybody was just push
Ready to go.
even more than before. I couldn't believe my eyes. That this the two places I mentioned, Argentina and Poland, are those that kind of surprised me a few times.
That's so cool.
But
South America, I've heard a lot about. I feel like a lot of artists say the same thing about South America, just like their passion for the music and their energy is crazy.
Yeah, completely.
That's awesome. That's so cool. My parents were just in Poland this past week. My mom is Polish, so they just took a trip out there together and said it's like the cleanest, safest city that they've like ever been in. They said it was beautiful.
Nice.
That's so cool. Yeah. Okay. Before I let you go, I wanted to ask, I know this is a passion for you outside of your job, but what do you do when you're winding down? Is there anything you like to do to just like relax outside of producing music?
Well, I know it's going to be a boring answer, but what I do to relax? I don't know. Stay here in the studio,
make music,
plug cables, unplug cables, try different instruments, play some keyboard, or just literally just going downstairs, playing my piano, playing whatever comes to my mind. I don't really have another hobby right now because this takes a lot of time. So of course I have a family, and then I have to balance my time with the family as well. But no, I don't really do any fancy stuff. I used to go skiing, but then I found I felt bad a few years many years ago, and then I was like, I'm not sure if I want to break something and then go on tour. So I kind of slow it down. I stopped.
Take it easy.
I just go to the mountain now just because there is some good restaurant.
Yeah, exactly. Do your kids ever get to go to your shows, or do they more like, hey, that's awesome.
That's
so cool.
I brought down to the afternoon festival in the Netherlands a few years ago, so they were able to be there. But we travel together. Just of course, enter the clubs at midnight.
Sure. Yep.
It's basically just me, going. Oh well, we can go there for sound check. Of course, it happens in Canada, for example, in Toronto or in Miami. But then I just go to work, and then the next day, I come back from the gig. I'm dead, and we are ready to go.
I feel that struggle so bad right now. So I know it's a different kind of balance. That's how I felt this weekend. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to get back at 4 a.m, and my son gets up at 7. So we're going to be ready to go bright and early.
Well, last time we went to, I played in Miami, and then I went back to the hotel around 6:30. And at 8, we were ready to drive to the Keys.
Right. It's never ending. But I'm glad you seem like you have so much energy. So I'm glad that you found your calling and that you're making music that feels authentic to you. And this project looks mind blowing. So congratulations again on OTTAGON and the album. Do you have? I want to plug anything, like any dates, things people should know, your socials. Where do people need to go?
Well, just the dates. I'm not even updated on dates. It's gonna be end of April somewhere, or early May. Honestly, now if my manager is gonna listen to this podcast, he's gonna kill me because I don't keep tracks of all the deadlines. But no, you can just follow. I post mainly on my Instagram, and so it's gonna be Giuseppe Ottaviani. That's the tag for Instagram. Just name and surname. I'm sorry if I decide to use my real name as an artist name. I know it's a long Italian name. It's really hard to spell or to pronounce, but hey, this is one of those mistakes you do at the beginning, and then there is no way to come back.
No, you're good. Never apologize for your name. We absolutely love it. And guys, I'm going to link everything down below so you can check out upcoming tour dates, festival dates, social media links. Again, so excited. Anything we can do to support, let me know. And I genuinely appreciate your time so much. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Take care.
Of course. Thanks, guys. Bye.